And in a female correct world, in a gynocentric social order, for a guy like myself, for a guy like Kevin Samuels, for a guy like Andrew Tate, for guys like Myron and Fresh on Fresh and Fit, as we have more and more access to greater and larger platforms, we can see what our social order, what gynocentric social order finds threatening. Adriana Chechik, right? She was just, was she having sex on Twitch? And she got a suspension. She got a 7-day suspension for it. That's it. That most definitely breaks Twitch's conduct rules, but Andrew Tate does not get to come back. As a matter of fact, they are banning pretty much all of his sub accounts as well. And on top of that, they have stopped his payment processors. We've seen this before. I have seen this before. I tell you guys all the time that the stuff that I see that happens in the manosphere, that happens in really, anything in social media, comes in cycles. I've been a part of this quote unquote manosphere for 20 friggin' years, man. It's because I lived through those cycles and I still see them happening today. Number one was Milo Yiannopoulos, right around 2014. He was critical of the actress who was in the, the all-female version of Ghostbusters, the black lady. And a woke mob came up and after him, and that was it. He was off. A guy like John MLD has started several new accounts on Twitter. Donovan Sharp has been ratioed, or he's been canceled. He's lost his channel on YouTube at least 4 times that I can remember. It's probably more than that. So this happens. You're going to get erased. You're going to get backspaced, right? So that was Milo Yiannopoulos. He used to be a writer for Breitbart when Breitbart was actually meant something. And now nobody even knows who he is. He was a very, let's say, flamboyant homosexual for a while. And he was a sweetheart of the conservative, of the alt-right during 2015, right when Trump was starting to come up. A lot of people don't know that Milo contributed quite a bit of money to the distribution of Cassie J's The Red Pill movie. Milo gets ratioed. He's still going to, all he had to do is say, hey, I'm going to go give a talk at Berkeley, and Berkeley would explode. There would be a riot. That's how Tim Pool, by the way, got his start. He would go out to these riots, woke riots, or what was starting to become wokesies versus tradcon, the based versus the woke. And he would go out there, strap a GoPro to his forehead, and he would go and hope that somebody was going to, there was going to be some violence there that he could report on. Roosh has been a firebrand in the manosphere for a very long time. Also got ratioed. Also had his books canceled. There was a time when it was the 3 R's of the manosphere: Rollo, Roosh, and Royce. Royce also lost his WordPress blog. Royce was more or less doxxed and got canceled himself, really, I guess, right around 2009. He pissed off the wrong feminist and they doxed him. Turns out he had a government job and he didn't want to lose it. So he was about to completely delete the, Royce in DC was the blog, then ended up passing the torch on to whoever was writing for Chateau Heartiste. And you'll notice a distinct difference in the writing and the subject matter that happens on that old site, which is no longer there because as of 2019, WordPress says, we don't want you on our platform. People get canceled. People get run up the flagpole by woke mobs. Roosh, very controversial figure. Most notorious PUA that ever was, during his time. Bang Denmark, Bang Poland, Pussy Paradise, and 30 Bangs, I think were his best work. But with that money and and during that time period, that's when Roosh decided he wanted to do the neo-masculinity push. He wanted to go and do the meetups, basically is what they were, all over the world. And so he would say, hey, I'm going to go to Australia. Australia said, no, you're not. You can't come in our country. Canada didn't want him to come there. He went and did some things in Canada. Remember the Battle of Montreal? And it was at that time a hot deal, or it was the new hotness was to go political. It was to become like Milo Yiannopoulos, who was getting interviewed for CNN, getting interviewed on Fox, going and doing talks with Ann Coulter at that time, who came out of the red pill sphere and into this sort of semi-political. I'm now a on the street journalist kind of guy. I'm Tim Pool. All right, this is the cycle. Okay, now Roosh gets banned. Royce gets banned. So what does Roosh do? He writes a book. Free speech isn't free. Suddenly now he's a free speech pundit. Jack Murphy wanted to be really deeply involved in the red pill. Then he didn't. And then he did again. And then he didn't again. So Jack Murphy gets ratioed, right? He gets outed. He gets doxxed by a woke mob and loses his job wherever the hell he was. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot more that was going on at that time, and he lost his job for a variety of reasons. But that's certainly one. It was believable at that time that a woke mob would come up and say, "Hey, we're gonna dox you, and you're gonna lose your job, and your kid's you're not gonna be able to coach Little League," I think is what it was. We have a history that is already established here. We already know that when you talk about red pill issues, for lack of a better term, if you speak about anything pro-masculine, the MRAs learned this a long time ago, men's rights activists. They learned this a long time ago. The moment you speak up is the moment they try to put a piece of duct tape on your mouth. That's when they have to cancel you. They have to throw you away. Once again, if you go and you look at what happened to Roosh, Roosh went and got canceled and then immediately went the free speech route. All these guys who are like, "Oh yeah, we're pro Andrew Tate, we really love him and everything." You will see that the narrative shift is about to go to free speech. Again, here we go. This is the cycle. Once I realized that he was getting canceled, and I knew it was just a matter of time, because he's literally the first person who has effectively, successfully gamed the YouTube algorithm. You get enough people to promote your stuff, and you work out some sort of like affiliate marketing scheme of some sorts, and you get your people to do it so that whenever you go on TikTok, whenever you go on Twitter, whenever you go on Facebook, well, maybe not Facebook, whenever you go on YouTube, whenever you go on Twitch, no matter what, you cannot avoid seeing Andrew Tate. That's what I was seeing back last year in my chat streams. It only lasts for a little while. If you think that YouTube, the higher ups at YouTube, keep seeing Tucker Carlson, if these guys who are like big names are seeing him show up in their stream, in their impressions, you know damn well that YouTube already has figured that out. They've seen this too. Now they understand the game. And so what do? They collectively, simultaneously, synchronously delete him. Where have we seen that before? Here's my third example, not Roosh, where a guy loses his payment processor, and by the way, so did Roosh, but loses his payment processor, loses his channel, loses his Twitter, loses his Twitch, loses his IG, loses his entire presence online all at once, all within a week's space. That's right, Alex Jones. You knew this was coming. You had to have known this was coming. And if you end up becoming the next Andrew Tate, like I would say, had Kevin Samuels lived a little bit longer, he probably would have been erased as well in a similar fashion. He wasn't quite to the point where he could get enough people to sort of do shorts and reels and TikTok. He wasn't right. He wasn't quite there. But God damn it, if Andrew Tate wasn't on top of that game, and all of those shorts, it's very easy to create a short. If people are rebroadcasting your URL, they're rebroadcasting your message and rebroadcasting that link to that video, whatever you created for them. If that keeps coming up over and over and over and over again, you're going to go up in the algorithm. You're going to be the first person you see in the Google search. But that's where he's at. He's been crucified. He's been erased. That's how we crucify people right now, because they dared to speak out against the gynocentric social order.